Resident Evil 3 for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC is a remake of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis that originally released on the PlayStation over 20 years ago. Does the Resident Evil 3 remake live up to the high precedent that was set with the remake of Resident Evil 2 that released in 2019? I'm Johniibo from the Game Pack. Join me as I try to survive the zombie-infested streets of Raccoon City. The story follows Jill Valentine, a former Special Tactics and Rescue Service aka STARS member who is trying to escape Raccoon City, which is overrun by zombies due to an outbreak of the T-Virus, aka Tyrant Virus, which causes humans and other animals to mutate into zombies and other deformed creatures. Jill is immediately attacked in her apartment by the creature known as Nemesis and needs to find a way to flee the city. Now, Raccoon City in Resident Evil 3 is gorgeous. There are cars and debris strewn about that you would imagine in a real zombie apocalypse. There are shops throughout the city that you can explore and scavenge, some of which have really nice Easter eggs that call back to other Capcom franchises and the Resident Evil series. My only qualm with the city is how linear it is. There aren't any wide open spaces to explore, and you spend most of your time navigating alleyways. The same can be said for the majority of the game. There is one area, I won't give any spoilers, that has a somewhat open layout, but for the most part it is a linear experience. This does, however, make it easy to memorize a layout and backtrack for items that you may have missed. The game takes place during the same time frame as Resident Evil 2, so if you have made your way through the Resident Evil 2 remake, there are some nice references that will have you saying, "Hey, I remember that." The enemy design is fantastically disturbing. The zombies seem truly undead and unaffected by your attacks. They are deceptively fast. They may seem slow and unassuming, but don't let your guard down because they can grab onto you quickly and are deadly in groups. The other enemies range from classic Resident Evil callbacks to some that I've never seen before, each with their own strengths and weaknesses which keep the encounters fresh. The overall atmosphere is eerie. There never seems to be enough light, and when there is a lot of light, the environment itself is just creepy. You can hear distant groans from enemies, and hearing Nemesis say "stars" makes chills run down your spine. Moving from area to area just leaves you with this pit in your stomach due to the fear of not knowing what is around the corner. The game is packed with action from beginning to end. However, my playthrough clocked in around 6 hours when it was all said and done. The Resident Evil 2 remake had a similar playtime for each playthrough, but it included 2 campaigns plus 2 alternative campaigns. Resident Evil 3 does not have any additional story content, so if you want to play through it again, it's just the same content that was in the initial playthrough. There is some replayability though. Once the game is beaten, a shop unlocks that allows you to purchase alternative costumes, infinite ammo for your weapons, and various other upgrades for your next playthrough. You can also try and get a better ranking, which is a staple in the Resident Evil franchise. It is unfortunate that Capcom did not include any additional content, which could have fleshed out the package. The Resident Evil series is known for its survival horror gameplay. Inventory management causes the most tension while playing. Not being able to carry everything puts a stress that cannot be matched by any other enemy in the game. You can find pouch upgrades that allow you to carry more items, but it is critical to be mindful of your inventory. It should be noted that the original Resident Evil 3 had tank controls and a fixed camera, but as in the Resident Evil 2 remake, this remake allows the user full control over the character and the camera. The majority of the game is spent with Jill Valentine, but there are segments with Carlos Oliveira, who is a mercenary for Umbrella Biohazard Countermeasures Service. Jill has a more methodical gameplay and is a bit quicker than Carlos. She has a dodge that allows her to avoid being grabbed by a zombie, whereas Carlos is more brute force. His arsenal includes an assault rifle that can take out a room full of enemies with ease. The differentiation between the two styles allowed for a nice change of pace throughout the game. The main threat of Resident Evil 3 is the Nemesis. Nemesis is a giant tyrant that is out to end Jill. Throughout the Raccoon City portion of the game, it feels like Nemesis can be around any corner, which causes this sense of urgency to get out of the city. It is slightly frustrating at times because he shows up when you most want to explore. However, the chase sequences with Nemesis were the most fun portions of the game, and I wish there were more. Unfortunately, once the first portion of the game is complete, Nemesis does not show up very often. It eliminates that sense of urgency, which gives freedom to explore, but loses most of the tension felt throughout the game. Nemesis is the only true boss in the game, which is slightly disappointing. Some of the previous Resident Evil titles have very imaginative bosses, and it would have been nice to see some additional encounters in the game. Finally, there were not a variety of puzzles throughout the game. There were some instances of backtracking to collect items in order to open locked cases, however, I can only recall one actual puzzle during the playthrough. Resident Evil games are known for their puzzles, so I wish they had more. Resident Evil 3 was a fun but short ride. It is one of the better Resident Evil games in recent memory, but I just wish there was more of it. A variety of bosses and puzzles could have added more to the experience. We here at the Game Pack give Resident Evil 3 a 7 out of 10. Now, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the Game Pack for more news, reviews, and other gaming content. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you all next time.